smell and teeth.
Hi. So, it's been an interesting week. We've had a lockdown in the UK, and I'm quite curious to know what you've been doing to entertain yourself.
Masturbating.
Okay, well that probably only entertains you for about 30 seconds.
Well, yeah, but then you got to think you got an hour before that trying to find something good, haven't you? You've been on Pornhub recently. There's a lot of crap on there.
Well, everybody seems to be talking about it.
What, porn?
Yes.
Well, yeah, that's because we're all locked down and you got the internet, and the internet is only good for one thing, isn't it? Either fighting over a fag end on a forum or porn.
I suppose so.
Did you know, actually? I learnt this the other day.
On a porn site?
No, this is on Pornhub, apparently.
You were on Pornhub?
No, I've not been on Pornhub. Although, apparently you can make 20 grand for doing a video, so if you see me on Pornhub, let's keep quiet. No, actually, on Pornhub, Rule 34 applies, the Internet Rule 34. I don't know if you've heard of this. Rule 34 means that if it exists, there will be porn of it. And there's now COVID-19 porn. I haven't watched it, so I don't know if it's about some guy knocking a woman's back out while she's coughing or something, but there's COVID-19 porn now.
Wow.
There you go. Mm-hmm. Facts you never knew.
Well, I might have known that. That might have been what I was doing the other day. Okay, so talking of entertainment.
No, we're not going. It's not going to go about porn all days here.
There seems to be a lot of, if you go on things like Facebook and that, there's a lot of live streaming. People are entertaining themselves doing, they're putting their live stream on and showing what they're up to. And I've noticed on Facebook, although I try and avoid the place, lots of live stream happening by DJs at the moment. Have you been watching any of it?
I've been trying, to be honest, I've been trying to avoid Facebook since this lockdown started, because the problem I have is that it's like, Bob the plumber from down the road, he's suddenly become an expert on viruses and he's giving you all sorts of advice, and then there's fake pictures of nurses with some stupid quote above it, and I'm just getting sick of it. But I have kind of flicked past a few live streaming DJs where they're just kind of sat in the bedroom with the decks and knocking shit out. Yeah, but I haven't watched it now.
No, I haven't really watched any of it. What has entertained me a little bit was some of them have put quite angry comments up saying that their live stream was muted or cut by Facebook, which made me smile a little bit to myself, because isn't there a thing out there that's called PRS?
Yes. Yes, the PRS, yes, it's the Performing Rights Society. Basically what it is you have the Performing Rights Society, and it consists of three parts. You have the Performing Rights Society, which I think is live. Uh-huh. I'm not a solicitor. I'm going to start by saying I'm not a lawyer or solicitor or anything like that.
This is just how we understand it.
This is how I understand the PRS. I am a member of them. The PRS is the Performing Rights Society, and it consists of three companies. You have the Performing Rights, which is people who play live. You have the PPL, which is the Phonographic Performance Limited, I think. And then you have the MCPS, which is the Mechanical Copyright Protection Services. So you have these three companies. And in America, I think they're called ASCAP and BMI.
Yeah,
don't know. I'm not from America, but it's something like that. But essentially what it is that if you write a piece of music, or for example, my music gets played out somewhere, mm-hmm. I should be paid for them playing out that piece of music.
Yeah.
And what the performing rights do is basically venues and places like that, they pay the PRS for playing my music or anybody else's music. For example, you go into a tattoo parlour, because we were in one a while ago, weren't we? You go in there, and if they're playing music, they should pay the PRS, and the PRS then gives out the money to the artists for creating that atmosphere.
All right, so that's how you make a living as a producer.
Well, yeah, it's one of the ways, because there's many ways to collect payment and income. Yeah, but that is one of the main ways, the PRS.
So, really, the streaming services are doing the right things then when they're muting the DJs, and the DJs shouldn't be so upset about it.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, if you are DJing out, you should be paying the PRS.
they do have an argument that they say, well, I bought that track. You know, they've been on Beatport or wherever they've been, and they've bought the track, so it's theirs. That's what their argument is when you read.
But it's not theirs. You see, the whole thing with music is that when you purchase a piece of music, you purchase the rights to listen to that piece of music. The same as when you listen to a piece of music on the radio are paying the PRS a certain amount to play that music out, so people can hear that piece of music. So when you buy this piece of music, you're buying rights to listen to it, not to broadcast it, which is why when you used to buy CDs, we don't anymore, but if you look at a CD, anything, it'll say no unauthorised copying, hiring, broadcasting, etc. The best way to look at this is, say you pay to go into a movie theatre to watch a movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and the movie starts, you pull your iPhone out and you start recording that movie. You record it all the way through, and then you walk out of the cinema and you go down to your mate's house where there's 40 of you. I mean, there isn't at the moment, but if there's 40 of you.
Social distancing.
Yeah. Well, perhaps you're all sat 6 feet apart, I don't know.
Might be a big house.
Yeah, big house. But you then play that to 40 of your mates. You know that that's illegal. You're not allowed to do that. And it's the same thing with music. You are just buying the rights to listen to it personally. You're not buying the rights to use that as your own and to kind of promote yourself. I mean, a lot of them probably have never heard of the Pro Dub license either.
All right, can you explain that?
Right, the Pro Dub license is if you are, for example, a DJ or a fitness instructor or something, and you buy a record, say you buy a CD, if you copy that CD to an MP3 format to be able to play it out somewhere, or you, for example, take an MP3 and you convert it into another format to go into track to DJ software or Ableton or whatever, if you do that, you need permission from the copyright holders of that piece of music, which is the musical work, which is the MCPS, and the sound recording as well, which is the PPL. You need the rights to copy that to a different format. That's not even playing it out. That's just copying it to a different format so you can perform it out to somebody. So that's a Pro Dub license. And of course, when you go to a venue and you're DJing at a venue or whatever, that venue should be paying the PRS for you to be able to play legally. And this is why when we go into places like Superdry, we've got to consider that our music helps people buy. When you go into Superdry, they're playing the music loud and they're playing dance music usually. So when you put these clothes on, you can be sat there going, yeah, this is how I'll feel in a nightclub. So they're using our music to market and sell their products. Yet I've not been to one Superdry store where they have PRS, We Are Listening sticker on the door. And if you broadcast anybody's music that is not your own, you must pay the PRS. That's the law of it. That's how it works. So when these DJs are sat there saying, well, I bought this piece of music and I'm playing it out, you've still got to pay the fucking PRS. Whether you're doing it for free or not, you are advertising yourself and your skills using mine and other people's work. Therefore, you should pay us. They need our music to play out, and if they don't pay us, we're not going to start giving a fuck about it. I mean, I'd say about 10% of people who make music, and obviously somebody's going to disagree with me, but in my experience, 10% of people who are making music...
Asthma. It's asthma. Where have you gone? It's asthma.
Oh, right. It's asthma, definitely.
It's asthma.
Oh, get another 6 feet between us. So,
what a producer does is art.
Well, yeah, I mean, the 10% of us are doing this for the pure love of it. We're doing it because we love making music. But 90% of these producers that... I'm just making an estimate here. Statistics have not been verified. But I say 90% of people on Beatport know that they're not going to make a lot of money from doing this. So what they're doing is they're opening Ableton, dragging a few samples together and going, oh, there's my fucking track, I don't care.
It's not most probably their prime income.
Well, it won't be. So these if these DJs and these large companies like Superdry and so forth would pay the fucking PRS, these producers will get more money, and there's going to be less of that because it's going to be like, look, I'm going to get paid quite a bit for this. I'm going to put some effort into it. I'm going to do a good job now, rather than just pissing about and releasing shit.
No, it's a very. I know it's quite an emotional. It's an emotional time, and people feel very emotional about music. And music has some fantastic qualities. It's used for mood enhancement. It's used in mental health, and we're all saying, yeah, listen to music. But I think it's really valid that people remember that people are also trying to make a living from music and producing music and producing good quality music. And there's something you always say about art that's quite interesting, a little saying that you always say when we talk about art and how important it is for us to have. Do you want to share that?
Oh, if you take art out of earth, you end up with air.
Talking of it being an interesting time, we're all adapting to different lifestyles. So we're all adapting to the fact we're having lots of streaming put in front of us. What's interested me a lot, though, as well, is not just this live streaming that I've seen. It's also been how people are talking about adapting to new things within their life and how their work has changed or different things like that. And one of them that has been probably quite interesting for me, because we do education, has how people have had to change their style of education for their students, and how they're having to switch from being face-to-face with a student to doing remote teaching. And we're lucky because we've always done both styles. We do face-to-face masterclasses and work, but we also do the online education. Is there much of a difference? When you do your teaching, do you do very different things for online compared to face-to-face?
Yes. I mean, when we do master classes at universities, you can kind of look at the students in a sea of blank faces, and at least you know that you completely fucking lost a lot of them, and you can kind of develop on it. But when you're recording in front of a camera, you can't see your student's face, and you've also got no idea of their level of knowledge. So you've got to take a completely different approach, that when you're recording something for somebody you don't know. For example, if I was to talk, say, I don't know, about reverb, for example, I can't just go in straight on reverb and say, right, well, for reverb, use this parameter does this parameter, and we're going to do this and this.
But
because...
a lot of the YouTubers do.
Oh, that's YouTube, isn't it?
I know, but, we're open-minded. We look at what's going on in the world, and...
I'm not saying
services.
I'm not saying that YouTube is bad. No, I am saying that YouTube is bad. It's fucking terrible. No, I mean there's a small percentage.
There's the odd nugget.
There is the odd nugget on YouTube. I mean, I've as some of the masterclasses we've held, had students going, "Oh, send you watch such a on YouTube," and you kind of look them up and you watch them and you think, "Oh my god." The thing with YouTube is that. I personally, if I was going to see a doctor, I mean, I couldn't see a doctor now, but I'd have to Skype with him. Yeah. If I wanted to sit there with a doctor, I'd expect to see him surrounded by medical equipment. I wouldn't want to see him with a bunch of mechanics repairing cars behind him.
No.
And the thing is, we have all these great producers on YouTube, and they're sat in the bedroom going, "I'm going to show you how to make this banging track." And you're like, well, what the fuck are you doing in a bedroom then if you're that good? You should be sat in a studio.
See, my problem I have with that is I might say my concentration will wander, and I start to then look around the room they're in.
Yeah, you see the washing behind them.
The washing behind, and I'm trying to work out what it is especially if it's hung up, what it actually is. And the white fronts on.
Johnny, your tea's ready. Not now, Mum, I'm recording. I'm on YouTube. Stop. Oh, Johnny, your tea, your gran's here. No, not now, Mum. No.
And so so I agree. If you're going to watch somebody, I do like to see a professional background behind them.
Production and music is a profession. There aren't any quick tips to the profession. It takes years, and you've got to start at the beginning. Like when you first go to school, you start by drawing. Now, the reason you draw is to practice your hand at being able to do the shapes for A, B, C. That's why they have you drawing first. So it's the same thing with production. You can't just jump in and get the odd tip, because you get a series of disjointed techniques that when you try and apply those won't work. You'll be like, well, what I'm missing something. And the reason you're missing something is you've wasted all your fucking time try to get these quick tips and tricks and these cliff notes thinking that I'm going to be famous in 2 weeks. When actually you're entering a profession full of professionals. You know, we don't just start making music and a week later it's like, bang, yeah, look at me. This is years and years and years of work. It's a profession. If everybody could do it, everybody is doing it, but everybody would be good at it.
Yeah.
And not everybody is good at it. So you need to start at the beginning. And this is why when we're doing things online, if I talk about reverb, I need to start at the very beginning and say, this is what reverb is. Now, it does piss people off who thought, well, I know what reverb is. Can you get to the good bit? It's like, yeah, but we've got to cater for all these different knowledges that are coming forward and going, well, I need to know what reverb is. Then I need to know what the parameters do. Then I need to know when to use it. Then I want to know the tips and tricks. If you just know the tips and tricks, you don't know when to use it. And this is where everything gets mangled. So you've got to be very careful doing online training, I feel.
But I'm going to sort of put you on the spot now because I like doing that. Entertains me. And we've all got a lot of time on our hands. Well, some people have with the lockdown. We're not so that kind of lucky. Can you give me 3 points that you would give somebody who is writing their first track? They're on lockdown. They've opened the door for the first time, and they're writing their first track.
My first key point would be to close your fucking door, get a book and read it. Okay. Learn about what the fuck you're doing, because too many people think I can open a door and write a track. But obviously everyone's going to ignore that advice. You could always buy a great book.
We'll keep that as one.
Yeah. You could always buy a great book called The Dance Music Manual by this really great guy.
Who's that?
Me. He goes right from the beginning all of it. No, but...
I think the 4th edition is the best.
Yes, it is, yeah.
And that's because I'm in it.
Shameless plugs. But no, nobody's going to listen to me anyway, so I'm just going to say, if you're going to open your fucking door, the first thing you need to do really is get a solid groove down. Remember that you're writing dance music. The problem is that some people jump in there and go, I'm going to write a melody. Well, it's very nice writing a melody, but it's not going to fucking help you, is it? Behave. So you've got to go right back to the beginning. You've got to write the groove first, because that's what people are going to dance to.
Okay,
and that's why they're going to a club. And this is dance music.
Okay, so number 1, the groove.
Get your fucking groove down.
Okay, number 2.
Then worry about the motif.
Okay.
And number 3, which is the biggest one for everything, learn how to fucking listen. Now, listening is completely different than hearing something. Everybody can hear. Not a lot of people can listen, and this is where the profession comes in. Listening is something that takes years to develop. Until you can listen, you cannot create music. And the thing is, it's like me, I'm colourblind.
Yeah.
As you know.
I know.
Yeah. If somebody said to me, paint a landscape, I'd be like, fuck. And that's what these guys are doing. They're going in with no skill listening, saying, I can paint this landscape. It's like, paint the Sistine Chapel then. You know how to use a paintbrush. You know what paints are. Paint the Sistine Chapel. Well, fuck, can't do that. Well, no, you can't do fucking music either. Learn how to listen. Okay. That is the key element.
Okay. And then if we're talking about people that have more experience and been using the door for a while, have been making music, what are your 3 key points for somebody with the experience but has lots of unfinished tracks?
Always finish tracks.
Okay.
Oh, I mean, it's the only point, really. Always finish tracks. One of the things I do when I'm approaching a piece of music is it's all a state of mind when we're creating a piece of music. Mm-hmm. And the problem is that too many of these kids are jumping into creating a piece of music and I'm going to write a hit. This is going to be on Beatport. The minute you approach a door with that mindset, you are not going to write a fucking hit. You're going to write a piece of shit. Because you're going to get so far and think, it doesn't sound like Above and Beyond because I like them. Or it doesn't sound like I want it to sound like Eric Prydz and I sound like Eric Shits. And it's, well, I'm not fucking surprised. What you've got to do.
It's a name you could release under that, isn't it?
That'll be the next release, yeah. I always make names up when I release. I never do them the same name. But the thing is, what they need to do is you need to approach it with the mindset of, I'm going to write an average fucking track. And that's how I always approach it. I just think, I'm going to have some fun and I'm going to write something that'll be met at the end of it. That way, the mental pressure isn't there. And writing a track consists of thousands of steps, and each one of those is either going to be a stumbling block or a stepping stone. The thing is, at the end of it, nobody has to listen to it. You can throw it in the fucking bin. You don't have to tell anybody you've written a track, and this is the problem with Facebook. Everyone posts, I'm in the middle of a track, look, I've got my drum loop. And they go, oh, here's your likes. Oh, yeah, oh, look, I got all these likes for a drum loop. It's fucking bullshit. So you've got to approach it in this mediocre way. If I'm just going to write a mediocre track and see how it develops as you write it, but make sure you finish it. And then when it's finished, because I mean, you can get so many bars down, I think it still sounds shit, and then you go back and change a bit, and all of a sudden, bang, oh.
Yeah, so that's really, that helps me sort of round up what we've talked about today, that we need to remember that music production is an art, and it's to be enjoyed, but it's also a profession. And then the other thing which we've talked about is online education, and the fact that it's very different online education from face-to-face. But a good point would be always pick your educator with care, look at what their past history is and their knowledge is. And I think the final thing is enjoy making some music while you're on lockdown, hone your skills if you've got lots of free time and you're not having to still work, which we are. So we're just actually on a lunch break at the moment doing this. You do realise that, don't you?
Oh, fuck. I would say, if you are struggling making music, go right back to the beginning and learn the fucking basics and build up from there. The problem is far too many people are rushing this. They're jumping in and going, oh, fuck it, I'm going to write a hit. I've just bought Ableton last week. Yeah. I'm going to write a hit now. And it's like, fuck no, mate.
Well, they're on a lockdown. They've got several weeks to do it.
Well, yeah, they're going to get 60 Beatport hits. And the thing is, when they can't get a hit, they say, I'm going to start my own fucking label. I'll release my own stuff now. Look at me. I've got loads of releases, love. On your own fucking label, because no fucker likes your music.
Well, I think that's a topic we could cover. That might be our next topic.
Oh, we're going to get some hate mail this time, aren't we?
But then again, that gives them something to do on lockdown.
Yes, all hate mail to be directed to, not
Alex.
Me. Yeah.
Just direct it to Alex. She might only be small, but she can take it.
I'm sure I saw you shot out of a cannon on a video on Pornhub.
Shh. That helmet's meant to be my motorbike helmet.
Yeah, that's the excuse you used. Why were you greased up?
Yeah, well, that's what pays. People don't pay the PRS. I've got to earn a living.
Did you get 20 grand for it? That's what they're offering.
Shh, don't tell the tax man.
Oh, dear.
Okay, thanks for your time. Let's back to work for you. You've not had a lunch break now, tough.
Thank you.
Oh, you're rationed.